Boy, I sure hope people are paying attention to all this misdirection that's going on in our country right now. Pretty hard to believe that they're going to these lengths to get rid of their opposition. Oh, hey guys, I didn't see you there. Come on in. I wanted to talk to you today about what's going on with Donald Trump. I'm sure you've heard by now, it's been all over the news for the past 4 or 5 days that they're going to arrest Donald Trump sometime this week. They said it was going to be today, Tuesday. And I'll be honest with you, I've been kind of watching this and keeping my mouth shut and just absorbing information and trying to figure out where is all this leading, why are they doing this, and I hope in this video we'll be able to answer why the Democrats are pushing so hard to arrest Donald J. Trump, a former president. This is unprecedented. It's never happened before in United States history where an ex-president has been arrested, perp walked, whatever they're planning to do, and I don't really quite get it. I mean, what I've worked out so far is they're trying to do this to distract from the failed policies that FJB has implemented all around the country. And if you don't know FJB, that stands for fuck Joe Biden, because he's a communist scumbag. In my opinion, he's a traitor to the United States of America and should be tried for treason. But regardless, we're going to talk about why they're going after Donald Trump today and what they're hoping to gain from all this stuff. And to get into this, as always, when I'm reading through communist propaganda, I'm going to need my anti-communist glasses. So we're going to slap these anti-communist glasses on where we can actually get a good view of what's going on in the world today. So exclusive, Trump will not be arraigned this week. Former president is expected to be indicted tomorrow, and Secret Service will make plans for his surrender and an appearance in New York court next week. So a source familiar with the proceedings exclusively told thedailymail.com on Tuesday there will be no arraignment this week. So again, misdirection. Why are they doing this? In my opinion, it's to take away the eyeballs off of the banking collapse that's going on, the financial state of disarray where we've been thrust into intentionally by Joe Biden's policies. It's pretty easy to figure out when you first come in and you cancel the Keystone oil drilling pipeline and you approve the Russia pipeline. It kind of says right there, that right there alone says where your loyalties lie, right? He doesn't want the United States to have cheap, good, free, locally available energy. He doesn't want us to have that. He wants us to have to buy from foreign countries. That's part of the collapse of the United States system as we know it. So Trump is expected to be indicted on Wednesday, after which the DA office will reach out to his Secret Service detail to make arrangements for his surrender. And they're talking about him surrendering next week. All 36,000 NYPD officers are in uniform and on notice for deployment after Trump called for his supporters to protest his imminent indictment. And they're trying to make a big deal about the fact that Trump called out people to protest. He didn't say go out and violently protest. Now, I would argue after the whole January 6th, I don't even really know what to call it. They're calling it insurrection, but it was really just a riot at worst case scenario. And it wasn't all the people rioting like during the Summer of Love when Black Lives Matter were rioting and burning down cities. See, that's okay because that was for George Floyd. But when Trump's people are trying to make sure that the election is fair and all the ballots were counted correctly and all that stuff, and they were just, slowing the pace down just to make sure that everything was on the up and up, that's not okay, see? That's a threat against democracy, according to these Democrats. Although every single election the Democrats have lost since Al Gore, at least, they have called a illegitimate election. So they said George W. Bush was illegitimate. They said in 2016, Donald Trump's election was illegitimate. They tried for 3-4 years to get him with this Russia garbage, which turned out to all be lies crafted by people in Hillary Clinton's camp. So there you go. If you're on the left, you can break every law in the book. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be like Hillary Clinton and literally have, trails of bodies connected to her, through all of her political dealings and stuff. And even more are coming out here recently. I heard about the latest guy. He actually was found, supposedly suicide. He committed suicide, they said. But the guy was found with tied up to a tree, and he had a shotgun blast to the face or the chest or something like that. This is another one of these deals where it's okay if you've got Clinton as a last name. But if you've got Donald Trump or anybody that basically represents the Republicans, they're going to attack you. So Let's move on here. Just in, Trump moves to quash Georgia special grand jury report as Fulton County DA considers RICO charges. So in Georgia, if you haven't heard, they're trying to go after Trump because he was wanting to make sure the election was fair and all the votes were counted fairly and all this stuff. Well, that's not good in Georgia. So they've got a liberal DA, probably another Soros-appointed DA, just like the one in New York City, going after Trump, going after their political enemies. And why are they doing this? We'll get to that in the end of the video here. Feds proceed with caution as potential Trump indictment fuels sporadic calls for violence online. See, that's funny because I look at a lot of online stuff and I haven't seen anyone. Doesn't mean it's not happening, but I haven't seen anyone calling for violence online. And I would argue if they are calling for violence, they're probably plants. They're probably not real Republicans. They're probably going into these forums and stuff, acting as if they're Republicans and saying we should go out and have violence. I have heard no one call for violence except the Democrats. Back when the Summer of Love was going on again, I remember Maxine Waters saying, you got to get up in their face. You got to get violent. You got to do stuff that's, I don't know if she actually said get violent, but she did say you got to get up in their face and basically make them extremely uncomfortable. Well, how do you think your people are going to receive that, Maxine Waters? They're going to do exactly what they did. They're going to see that as a state-sponsored promotion of all the crap that they've done already, burning down cities and stuff like that. NYPD says all hands on deck. Capitol Police call in more manpower ahead of potential Trump arrest. So they're using this potential Trump arrest to lock down the Capitol, lock down New York City, make it to where all hands are on deck because they're expecting violence. Next up here, Rand Paul tweets, New York district attorney should be put in jail. And I completely agree with that. Rand Paul, I mean, he's almost never wrong. I can't think of any times in the past since he's been in politics that Rand Paul has come out and said anything that's been wrong. And again, Rand Paul nails it. He's right on the money. The DA in New York City should be put in jail. This is a violation of if you really want to talk about democracy, this is a violation, an attack on democracy. They can't compete with Donald J. Trump, so they're going to have to arrest him. And in reality, it's backfiring in their face. What's really going to happen, and it's already happened, Trump's popularity is going to explode as a result of this. Because most people, especially most people that would be inclined to vote for Trump, can see through the BS. We can see through it. We have our anti-communist glasses on. We can see what you commies are doing, and we're not going to put up with it. Utter and complete crap. Ted Cruz slams Manhattan DA's political persecution of Donald Trump. Absolutely, Ted Cruz is right on this one. He's not always right, not as often as Rand Paul is, but I agree with him on this one. So listen to this. Anna Navarro. Trump and his minions are trying to extort the American legal system. So she went on The View, that communist show that I guess a lot of housewives or something watch. I don't know who watches that garbage, but somebody's watching it because they're still keeping it on the air. This Anna Navarro lady, I think she's supposed to be a Republican, but if she is, she's a rhino, Republican in name only. Anyway, I think she's supposed to represent the Republican view on The View, although she's not doing it. She says Trump and his minions are trying to extort the American legal system. Oh, are they really? Or is it Joe Biden and his communist minions that are actually extorting it? They're not trying to, they're actually extorting the American legal system, the justice system. It's not equal justice anymore under Joe Biden's leadership or whatever you want to call what he does. Anyway, so guys, I told you, I'd tell you why they're doing all this at the end. And there was a great article on this. Democrats have no good option for 2024. So the front runners in the Democrat Party that are going to run for possible election in 2024 are Gavin Newsom. You guys, I don't even have to say anything about Gavin Newsom. You can look at any of his policies. They're all disastrous. They've been a huge disaster for California. Do you think that America wants to be Californicated on by someone like Gavin Newsom? I don't think so. The other one is Pete Buttigieg, the guy that just basically screwed up the Ohio disaster out there in New Palestine, Ohio. I saw a report earlier today. It's not here on my list of headlines, but they're basically finding deadly levels of toxins in the ground around New Palestine where they decided to burn that crap up. I mean, a complete, utter failure. This guy only got the job because of his sexual preferences, not because of merit. We're supposed to have a meritocracy where the best person, the most qualified person gets the job, not depending on who you sleep with or whatever, how many kids you adopt or whatever, that kind of crap. So at the end of the day, the Democrats have no good option to run against Trump. They know they're not going to be able to beat Trump in 2024. So the only thing they can do is try to get him arrested, indicted, whatever, put in jail, whatever. And I swear to you, I can just see the writing on the wall. If they do that, it's going to backfire on them way worse than they can ever imagine. It's a guarantee Trump wins if they go forward with this deal. So they have no good options in 2024. That's why they're doing this. And to distract us from all of the other catastrophic damage that Biden and his administration, in the name of, saving the earth, are doing to our country and our economy. They're breaking the dollar right before our very eyes. Most people are feeling it now. So the last option the Democrats have on the table is cackling Kamala Harris. Nobody wants her. Not even the people on the Democrat Party want her to run for president. Oh, you got Biden, but he's probably not going to make it. The people in the Democrat Party do not want Biden to run again in 2024. So they're in a real pickle here. They've got a real problem. They've got no good candidates because they're all fucking communists. That's why. Let's go back to America first. And I'm not talking about Trump's America first. I'm talking about everybody. Every politician should believe that. America first, right? That should be the way it would be in a normal, free country where we have liberty and justice for all. But we don't have that anymore under Joe Biden. Now, do we? Because they're trying to destroy the system. Everything. I've talked about this ad nauseum on several of my videos. The 45 communist goals have been completed. Yuri Bezmenov talked about it back in the day, about how they were trying to basically destabilize our country. We're already past the destabilization process. We have been destabilized. Next up is to be destroyed. And that's what they're trying to do. You've got all this crap going on with the banking sector. All this crap that's going on. I remember Janet Yellen came out and was saying, oh yeah, well, this inflation is going to be transitory and all this stuff. It's just going to be temporary. It's not going to be forever, blah, blah, blah. Now they're backing off that crap because everything they touch turns to shit. Biden has the reverse Midas touch. Everything him and his communist administration touches turns to shit. And so that's what they're trying to distract us from with this entire Trump arraignment and arrest and all this stuff. And am I saying it's right for Trump to go out and pay off some Stormy Daniels, prostitute or porn star, whatever the hell she is, to do this sort of thing? No, I don't think that that's right. But at the same time, there have been many people, including Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, that have done much, much worse and have not been arrested and perp walked over this deal. So you tell me, do we have equal justice in the United States of America anymore? I would argue no. If you've got a Democrat, a D by your name, you can do whatever the hell you want to do without consequences. If you've got an R by your name, you better not fart one out the wrong way or they're going to arrest you and perp walk you. So, guys, we're in a lot of trouble. I wanted to take my time with this one and absorb all this information before I actually did a report on this. But I think this is a sign that our country is heading towards collapse. If this political injustice is allowed to stand and allowed to go forward, and they actually do arrest Donald Trump, it could bring on a civil war. I'm not saying you should go out and do anything to prepare for a civil war or anything like that. That's up to you. Just prepping in general would be a good idea, though, just so that you have everything you need for when the system comes crashing down. We all feel it. We all feel it. This can't go on forever. It'd be like, in a family setting, if you had let's say the head of the household just started spending money on everything, and there wasn't enough money coming in. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to go bankrupt. You're going to lose all your shit because you spent too much money. You didn't save some money to pay your bills and things like that. So that's what's going on right now. We're spending all our money on Ukraine and foreign wars that do not affect our border in any way. Our border is wide open. They're allowing Chinese nationals to come in now. I mean, guys, this experiment in liberty and freedom is coming to a rapid end. So I advise you, prepare yourself physically, spiritually, and mentally for the coming collapse. That's all we can do at this point. I mean, I can't make anything happen here on my little bitty channel that's going to make any changes in Washington, D.C. or with your next political candidates or anything like that. So all we can do, we still have the power of the vote for what that's worth. And I can't say too much about that because YouTube will ban me for questioning the results of the 2020 election or whatever, right? So for what that's worth, you still have your vote. So we have to still go out and vote and try to do our part and our civic duty. But otherwise, the only thing else you can do is prepare for economic collapse, prepare for the entire system to come crashing down, because I think that's what's going to happen. And it could be really swift. It could come like a thief in the night, as they say in the Bible. So get your shit together. We're headed for some tough times. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I always love reading your comments. So let me know what you guys are thinking about all this. Am I right about this? Is the only reason the Democrats are doing this right now to disqualify Trump from the 2024 election because they're afraid they can't beat him? That's what I think it is. Is it also to distract us, the plebes out here? They're serfs. Is it all about distracting us from what's really going on in the Biden administration and in the country? I believe it is. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. As always, I stand for liberty to the bitter end. I hope you do too. We'll see you next time.